Hi there. Hi there. Well, you spoke about it earlier, Sean. The government says it has an ambitious new plan to tackle climate change. Good evening, I'm Claudia Liza Armah. Welcome to 5 News Tonight. Will rules be relaxed this Christmas? Also tonight, the end of the road for new petrol and diesel cars as the Prime Minister reveals his green plan. Good evening. It could be beginning to look a lot like Christmas. That's if a new plan to allow family get-togethers gets the go-ahead. The government's medical advisor on COVID says that if we do our bit now to bring infection levels down, the rules could be relaxed by the festive season. But that comes at a cost. Experts say every one day with fewer restrictions would need to be offset with 5 days of tougher rules. Our health correspondent Catherine Jones explains. Tonight, hydrogen-heated towns, wind-powered homes and electric cars with an extensive charging network. That's what the UK's green industrial revolution will look like, according to the Prime Minister. Today, he set out a 10-point plan for the UK to meet its legal target of reducing emissions to net zero by 2050. So, is it realistic and will it work? Our chief correspondent, Tessa Chapman, reports. Well, as you heard from Tessa, environmentalists say the plan is not ambitious enough. I spoke to Katie White from the WWF, plus Muna Suleiman from Friends of the Earth. I started by asking if they welcome the pledge. What's your reaction to this? Because with this, as Katie was saying, the eradicating of petrol and diesel cars, making homes more environmentally friendly, creating 250,000 green jobs. Surely this is good news today. He pointed out wanting more money from the Chancellor in his next spending review. What else would you like to see the government do? Are there not maybe some concerns and worries about affordability, not for the government, but for everyday people? So using the example of diesel and petrol cars being eradicated, this is going to put a lot of pressure on everyday people to now buy electric cars, which tend to be more expensive. So, Katie, we are seeing quite a turnaround in terms of the business attitude towards that climate change and environment argument. You know, there once was a time where spending money in the environment, businesses would be worried about potentially taking away jobs. Now you are seeing that turnaround, the creation of jobs. Of that COP26 being hosted in Glasgow next year, what sort of announcements would you want the government to be making there? OK, still to come on 5 News Tonight. See you after the break. Welcome back to 5 News Tonight. World Cup winning footballer Sir Jeff Hurst is joining calls for a ban on children heading footballs over concerns it increases the risk of developing dementia. Several of his former teammates have been diagnosed with the disease, and Sir Jeff believes regular heading in matches and training contributed, as Steve Hargrave reports. Well, earlier I spoke to Dr. Willie Stewart from Edinburgh University, who's been studying the issue. I started by asking him what he's found out. We want to continue carrying out further research so we can get a better understanding in this potential link. One of the areas, one way you think you could get the answer to that is also looking at the younger generation as well. So you want to focus as well in people who were born in the 1990s and look into that, the leather football arguments as well. Given what you know now, do you think there is a real argument for footballers to stop heading the ball? The same thing when it comes to children then practising and training in football. Obviously, Scotland have banned children heading footballs. I think you make that point because Sir Jeff Hurst, his argument was the same thing, that when it came to matches, not many of the players were heading the ball, but it was in training. That is where the heading of the ball happened most. It's to parents then who might be worried about their children playing football and heading the ball. Next, while there is positive news of vaccines on the horizon, people are still dying with COVID-19 every single day. In the last 24-hour period, 529 deaths were recorded in the UK, and it's important we stop to think about the impact that has on families. Today, we remember 75-year-old David Knowles-Leake, an important member of the local community in Maidenhead. He died last week. His son Mike told us about him. That was Mike Knowles-Leak there talking to us about the loss of his dad, David, who died with coronavirus. A look at some other news now. And Jeremy Corbyn won't have the Labour whip restored despite being readmitted as a party member. It means he will continue. Oh, we'll always love Dolly, won't we? Finally, this pandemic hasn't just changed the way we work. For many people, it's changed the work itself. Some have been forced to look for pastures new. Others have found lockdown gave them time and space to reflect on the career that they want. Either way, CVs have been shaken up across the country, and sometimes a change does the job, as Peter Lane reports. And finally, it was a world of pranks, pies and catapults, a world where children could rail against the grown-ups telling them what to do. Well, it's not the only cartoon offering us nostalgia at the moment. This is a taste of what our cinema screens have in store for us when they finally start showing new releases. And on our TV screens, it is the tried and tested shows proving popular. Well, that is it for 5 News tonight. Claire Nazir has weather next and Danny has the updates. Bye-bye.